Part 4. Implications and Outlook. Several implications and suggestions follow from this. First, the theory of social evolution sketched here entails a fundamental criticism of the egalitarianism rampant within the social sciences, generally, but also among many libertarians. True, economists allow for human differences in the form of different labor productivities, but these differences are generally interpreted as the result of different external conditions, i.e., of different endowments or training. Only rarely are internal, biologically anchored characteristics admitted as possible sources of human differences. Yet even when economists admit the obvious, that human differences have internal, biological sources as well, as Mises and Rothbard certainly do, they still typically ignore that these differences are themselves in turn the outcome of a lengthy process of natural selection in favor of human characteristics and dispositions, physical and mental, determinant of economic success, and more or less highly positively correlated with economic success of reproductive success. That is, it is still largely overlooked that we, modern man, are a very different breed from our predecessors hundreds or even thousands of years ago. Second, once it is realized that the Industrial Revolution was first and foremost the outcome of the evolutionary growth of human intelligence, rather than mere removal of institutional barriers to growth, the role of the state can be recognized as fundamentally different under Malthusian versus post-Malthusian conditions. Under Malthusian conditions, the state doesn't matter much, at least as far as macro effects are concerned. A more exploitative state will simply lead to a lower population number, much like a pest would, but it does not affect per capita income. In fact, in lowering the population density, income per capita may even rise, as it did after the Great Pestilence in the mid-14th century. And in reverse, a good, less exploitative state will allow for a growing number of people, but per capita incomes will not rise or may even fall because land per capita is reduced. All this changes with the Industrial Revolution. For if productivity gains continuously outstrip population increases and allow for a steady increase in per capita incomes, then an exploitative institution such as the state can continuously grow without lowering per capita income and reducing the population number. The state then becomes a permanent drag on the economy and per capita incomes. Third, whereas under Malthusian conditions positive eugenic effects reign, the economically successful produce more surviving offspring, and the population stock is thus gradually bettered, cognitively improved. Under post-Malthusian conditions, the existence and the growth of the state produces a twofold dysgenic effect, especially under democratic welfare state conditions. For one, the economically challenged, as the principal clients of the welfare state, produce more surviving offspring, and the economically successful less. Second, the steady growth of a parasitic state made possible by a growing underlying economy systematically affects the requirements of economic success. Economic success becomes increasingly dependent on politics and political talent, i.e., the talent of using the state to enrich oneself at others' expense. In any case, the population stock becomes increasingly worse, as far as the cognitive requirements of prosperity and economic growth are concerned, rather than better. Finally, it is important to note in conclusion, then, that just as the Industrial Revolution and the attendant escape from the Malthusian trap was by no means a necessary development in human history, so its success and achievements are also not irreversible.